Black Sea Trade and Development Bank and for the firms that are here. I would like to ask the President of the Black Sea Trade and Development Bank, Mr. Andrei Kondakov, welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, Prime Minister Mr. Tigran Sargsyan, Central Bank Chairman Mr. Artur Javadyan, Minister of Finance Mr. Vache Gavrilan. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and pleasure to welcome you here at the Business Forum of the Black Sea Trade and Development Bank here in Yerevan. The high level of participation and support extended by Armenian authorities in this event reflects close cooperation between the government of Armenia, Central Bank of Armenia and BSTDB since the bank's inception. It has become a good tradition at our bank to organize such business events on the margins of its annual meetings that rotate each year, coming to all our member states. The main objective of this forum is to showcase Armenia's progress and to promote investment and growth in this country by facilitating business contacts in the region and constructive dialogue between the authorities, businesses and international development community. Promoting growth, knowledge sharing, synergies and networking is a priority for the BSTDB as a regional development institution. I am honored now to invite His Excellency Mr. Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia, Mr. Tigran Sargsyan, to open this business forum and to set up the discussion of Armenian economic and investment policy priorities and opportunities. Mr. Prime Minister.
We are happy to welcome you in Armenia, and it's our pleasure to host this event. As you know, we value very much the cooperation with the Black Sea Trade and Development Bank, and it's one of the IFIs that is quite active in Armenia.
Ես Սովյան տնտեսական համաժողովին Հայաստանի ներկայացումը այլ համարելով տարածաշրջանային կարևորագույն համագործության խթանման կարևորությունից։ Հույս եմ հայտնում, որ հնարավոր է ապահովել Սերտորյան տարածաշրջանի կայունությունը, տարածաշրջանային համագործակցության ընդլայնման միջոցով և նպաստել բարեդրացական հարաբերությունների հաստատման և ամրապնդմանը, ինչը համահունչ է Հայաստանի նպատակներին։
And ensuring the health of the financial system of Armenia.
Հարգելի գործընկերներ, թույլ տվեք նավից երես ողջունել այսօրվա համաժողովի մասնակիցներին։ Մեր քննարկումների առաջի հատվածի խորագրի ներքո փորձեմ համառոտ ներկայացնել իմ մոտեցումները Հայաստանի տնտեսական եւ ներդրումային քաղաքականության ձևավորման գործընթացում ֆինանսական համակարգի մասնակցության դերի, ծառացած մարտահրավերների եւ քաղաքականության անհրաժեշտությունների վերաբերյալ
զարգացման ուղիները նախանշում են եւ հետագա քայլերը։ Մեր տնտեսությունը այսօր, ինչպես ասեցիք, հետևում է վերափոխումների փուլում։ Մեր երկիրը իրականացնում է ռեֆորմ, որը կարելի է անկեղծ ներկայացնել երկու կետով։ Առաջինը դա արդյունաբերության վերափոխումն է, որի նպատակն է դարձնել երկիրը
որոնք այդպիսի ծրագրեր ունեն եւ համարձակորեն իրականացնում են։ Արդյունաբերական աճը երկրի այսօր եւ իրական է այդ աճը։ Այդ աճը միայն մեկ ջուրի հետ կապված չէ, նախկինի պես բավական բաշխված է։ Այսօր են ջուրեր ունեն, որ հերթական փոխի վերազինման հետևանքով կարող են աննախադեպ արդյունքներ ցույց տալ։ Տեսնելի վերամշակման ոլորտում դա թե ասենք
that IFI finance has grown very significantly in recent years. It was a trend that was there prior to the crisis, but it certainly accelerated in 2007, 8, 9, and 10, and there's no reason to believe that it's slowing down either now. It has grown sharply in recent years, but it is again this counter-cyclical flow, which I think bears mentioning in order to offset the observed declines in private capital flows.
Important, and we may discuss later on, and also the overall synergies that the knowledge sharing that they bring. Let me ask our representative from IFC, Mr. Robert Liebeck.
IFC was founded in 1956 to focus exclusively on the development of the private sector through investment and later through our advisory services. In 1956, there was, of course, a global competition for ideas on whether it should be the state or the private sector that should be leading economic growth. I think that this debate continues even today. However, I think all parties engaged in the debate recognize that with proper regulation, the private sector really is the driver of economic growth and employment for countries. So the report which Panos has given an overview of in his presentation, I think makes a very timely summary of the key role that IFI has played to promote economic growth sustainably in our member countries. And there's copies of this report available at the back of the room, and I would encourage you to.
I'm not going to make a very long presentation. I think the report was very interesting. I would actually pick up what Oksaya mentioned, and Tom talked about that also. The fact that in a period of crisis, the crisis response comes from IFIs. They are the only institutions that are capable, it's not just willing, but capable of making up for the deficiency of private sector investments.
Yes, last but not least, yes, and also referred as the public side partner to the government, which is mainly true. However, just to point out this, the mother company DEG was also involved in this. It's also important, but I meant to say involved in this study. This is also why I think, from what I hear, and you mentioned the wide area which I'm covering, so I'm not an expert in Armenia, but I think what I've heard today about the analysis, and I listened very carefully, I think that very much reflects what I think is true to this region. And so since our DG colleagues are involved as well, I can say, yes, we do share the results, and we very much like to support the private sector. But since I'm representing KfW, the mother of KfW is the DG story.
I'll speak loudly. Yeah. Thank you. I work with UNDP in a Black Sea program, and we work in the Caucasus specifically.
Follow up on the discussion you started. Small economies, small countries like Armenia and other countries in the region suddenly will suffer from lack of capital.
In a country like Armenia,
take him on.
You could answer the question.
If you look at the region,
they think of southern Armenia to be some kind of a conflict region. So for them, it will be very difficult to set their minds and say, yes, I'm going doing ecotourism in that conflict area. So
Brief introduction, I'm Karol Gevorgyan, Deputy CEO of Armenia Invest Bank, representing the commercial banking sector of Armenia.
I think it's a real challenge for all of us.
For the banks on the one hand, which has sometimes tools to manage it, but for individuals.
BSTDB, but also from Russia. As you described.
To a certain extent be involved, because it would help catalyze this level of concern. It would help create new jobs.
I was struck by a phrase in Panos' presentation as to what IFIs are not good at.
I mentioned at all about microfinance, which is being presented as one of the main answers to that target. And I do wonder actually what is the role of IFIs in that, or whether it would be the role of
Tauchen Tunnele, tauchen Schrapnelle aus dem, gibt auch einen Bord